Before we began the removal of the factory intercooler setup, I had atomic HD valve springs installed in the head to be able to start the power upgrade safely, as the stock valve springs are pretty soft and wouldn't handle a lot of boost. Now we can begin on the turbo territory power increase mission. We removed the top mount interheater, the rear turbo housing, and the top half of the factory intake plenum. Now that all the factory junk is removed from the engine, we can begin to start fitting the ported rear turbo housing, the Process West intake plenum, and the Stage 2 Process West intercooler. This is where things get interesting. The Process West Stage 2 intercooler is not made for the territory, it is made for the BF Falcon. We made it fit upside down in the front of the territory. We pulled the turbo core out of the rear housing and installed the ported rear housing and flapper mod and bolted it back together with a Turbo Smart 12 psi actuator and reinstalled it onto the engine and standard debonged exhaust system. Here is another fun thing. The Process West BF racer box is not made to suit the territory either, but it went in and seems to fit well. Just a couple minor mods and it's bolted up to stay for good. Now that the turbo and airbox are back in on the hot side, we move to fitting the Process West billet intake plenum. I used the Process West FG hot side piping kit. From the turbo to the intercooler inlet under the headlight, I had to shorten one of the FG pipes to make it fit nicely, and chop a bit off the side of the racer box to allow the hot side to pass through it. Now that it's all buttoned up, and piping is installed, and clamped up, it's time to run the cable to the back of the car, to the battery. After fitting all the front end, I drove the car for a few weeks, before going to Force Performance and Tune before a dyno tune, and to have Decker 650cc injectors fitted and a Walbrew 460 pump in the tank. Recently upgraded the exhaust to 4-inch and have ID 1000 injectors ready to be installed on the next dyno day at Forced Performance.
Six months later.
After retune the territory at Forced Performance, now that it's a lot cooler, and see what power gains can be made with a bigger exhaust and 1000cc injectors. It's not too bad for a 190,000 kilometer unopened engine. Shout out to Scott for the help, Yatla Head Works, and Forced Performance.